Alright. Hello, Philip. My name's Scott, and this here is Jamal, and today we're going to be walking you through this session. Today we're going to be testing the website in front of you right now to see what it's like for users to interact with it. Before we begin, I want to let you know that Jamal and I are just testing the site and not you, so during this test you cannot do anything wrong. We want to hear exactly what you're thinking and feeling throughout this session. As we are not the designers of this site, you will not hurt our feelings, so feel free to speak freely and openly about your experience. If you have any questions during the session, just ask. I may not be able to answer them right away since we're interested in how people do when they don't have someone sitting next to them, but I'll try to answer the questions you still have after we're all done. Before we begin, we'd like to bring to your attention that we are using a screen and voice recording software. With your permission, we're going to record the computer screen and what you have to say about the site. The video will be used to help us figure out how to improve the site. For the purpose of this assignment, we will be uploading this session to YouTube so that it can be viewed by our professor and classmates. If you're comfortable with this, we would like to receive your verbal confirmation.
I consent to the audio recording of my experience with this website.
All right, great. So do you have any questions before we begin?
No, I just wanted to thank you for having me here. I feel incredibly privileged to be able to test this website with you.
I'm glad to have you here. All right, so before we begin with the stuff on the screen, we're going to ask you for a few preliminary questions. So first of all, what is your occupation?
I'm a student of computer science at the College of Worcester.
Cool. All right, so now roughly how many hours a week would you say you spend using the internet?
Uh-oh.
Just a
ballpark estimate. It honestly, probably more than a full-time job. Like
Okay.
70 hours a week. Like significantly more than a full-time job.
That's fair. And how do you typically spend that time on the internet?
A lot of it right now is working. It's staying in contact with people that I'm trying to build research relationships with, looking up information, and then a fair amount of it is also leisure, music and videos and whatnot.
Awesome. The next question I have for you is, do you own a vehicle?
No, I do not own a vehicle.
Okay. And how would you describe your knowledge about vehicles, both in general and more on like a technical level?
My general knowledge of driving is actually fairly all right. I had a pretty intense driver's education program at my school. On a technical level, I have no idea how anything in a car works, and of course I don't have a driver's license, and I've never driven a car outside of my time in driver's ed.
All right, great. Well, now we're done with the questions, so we're going to start looking at the site here in front of you. So we prepared a few scenarios for you, and we're interested to see how you would go about acting on them with the site in front of you. Are you ready to begin?
I am.
All right, let us begin then. And remember to try and think out loud as you navigate the site so we know what you're thinking. We're also going to ask that you do not use the site's search bar and that you remain on this site at all times. So right now in front of you, we have the Mercedes-Benz dealership homepage, and we're going to run you through a few scenarios. So the first scenario is that you're in need of a car and you decide to buy a Mercedes. You're sure you want to get an SUV, but you want more information on the different models Mercedes has. So what we want you to do is to pick two SUVs and get some information on any special features that they offer.
All right. I have to pick two SUVs. Well, right off the bat, I'm looking at an image of an SUV. Take advantage of special offers on the 2019 GLE SUV. That seems like a safe bet. I'm not even going to look at the rest of this page for right now. Oh gosh, so much information. All right. So I'm on a huge... I don't mind this display. I do wish that it wasn't quite so vertically oriented because I can't look at more than... It looks like I can get 3 cars on the screen at any given time. And unfortunately, I've scrolled away from the SUVs, and I have no idea where on the page they were. So now hold on while I just do a quick scan through. Oh dear, I've lost them. E-Class offers, sedans, cabriolets. Oh, here we are, SUVs. All right. So I have to pick any two SUVs and get information on special features that they offer. So it's giving me A list of offers? Oh gosh, and I've completely left the page. And I'm learning more about the GLA SUV. I don't want that. I'm going back. This seems so. I mean, right off the bat, there's so much information vertically on this page that it's really easy to lose your place, and going back forces it to re-scroll all the way through, so it's a little disorienting. Offer details. Oh, there we go. Offer not valid in Puerto Rico. Interesting. Okay, so I've got 2 SUVs. I've got the information on the special features. Maybe it looks like these are just lease disclaimers. But if I click I'm interested, it takes me nowhere. I have entered the Mercedes void. Oh, there we go. Okay, and a pop-up. No. The pop-up is also very low resolution. All right, so it doesn't actually look like this is the car. This is not information about the car itself. This is just me trying to schedule a drive of this model, so that's probably not what I want. And clicking the back button doesn't even take you to the SUV's page. That's incredible. That's a re-scroll all the way through to get to the GLA SUVs. All right, so when you say to pick 2 SUVs, is this a sufficient amount of information, or do I need to actually get information about the models themselves? Because I have lease disclaimers.
You're just kind of getting a feel for the different models they're offering and kind of getting a sense of which one you might want to look into further.
Gotcha.
Purchasing.
Because this is mostly financial information. So the price of the car, the lease rate, financing information, and that's all fine. But maybe I want to learn. Let's see. So I guess each of these SUV models has a kind of a super category page where you can check the models separately. And of course, it's all one really big, long, scrollable page again.
And would you say that that's a problem for you?
So this is just a personal vendetta I have. I know that this style of website is in vogue right now. But I don't love when websites force you to load a huge, absolutely enormous page with high-res images and then make you scroll all the way through it to find information. I'd rather just either there be a slideshow widget on the website that I can go through horizontally so I can just maintain my position on the page, or have a separate page for every model. Just because it's, for me, maneuvering through such a large page like this is a little bit confusing. All right, so if I were to get information about this, oh gosh. All right, that's interesting. So entertainment, blind spot assistance. That's very nice. All right, so is it all right if I say that I've selected the GLE 400 4MATIC and the 43?
If that's the one you want
Because I
to
can
go with?
Yep, I've got these 2 lined up, and I know how to get to the information about their builds now. So
All right, cool. Yeah, that works. All right, so now we're going to move on to scenario 2. So now you've decided on which model you want to buy, and you want to kind of customize the car to your specific needs. So what we want you to do now is to go through the process of building the car of your choosing and just kind of customizing it to what you want, what you would want in a car.
Oh, cool. Well, seeing as I've never driven a car, I'm not quite sure what I'd be looking for. SUV seems a little bit larger than what I might need, but we'll go with this one. So I've clicked the build button. I'm assuming that will let me build my car. And I do like this little widget up at the top that just, I'm assuming this will fill out as I add features with the price. So I've gotten a total build cost. It looks like it starts at about $55,000 a year, with a $672 a month lease, which is very nice. All right, so I can put a color on the car. Let's see here. Ooh, and I do like the model updates. This huge image updates in real time as I click the options. I'm always a fan of that. if I want to change my wheels, it informs me that there are extra features that I have to add. I'm going to incur a $2,900 cost. I'll make the changes. So I do like that warns you as well. And if I come back up to the total build, it's added the cost of modeling the exterior. It's very nice. Save your build. If I create an account, I'm guessing I can save my progress here. I'm going to add a panorama roof. All right. And again, with the vertical scrolling, I'm not entirely sure if this next advances me to the next part of this overall, like this exterior, interior, and so on list, or if this will take me to some, like this get a payment or quote. Because the next button is part of this color, but it's separated by a horizontal line. It's all a little bit. I probably would not have this problem if we had either moved the button up a little bit, or if we weren't enforcing this vertical layout. It's fine. I'll move to the interior. All right. I'm now looking at a 3D model of the interior of my car. What city is this? Oh dear, I'm on an island. How can I get off? I do like, so will this update in real time? That's my question. If I change the trim of my car to natural grain brown ash wood. Mouse scroll, all right. That does change in real time. That's really nice. Black piano lacquer. I like that. Let's change the upholstery as well. Porcelain Napa leather / black leather. And again, it's going to tell me that to make this change, I'm going to have to add an additional $350 in additions here. I'll make the changes. Oh gosh, that is a hideous interior. I love it. I'm going with it. Heated steering wheel, absolutely. That's going to add $500 total. Why do I need the brushed? This is not a website question. This is a cars question. If I heat the steering wheel, why do I have to add brushed aluminum pedals? I'm going to click the next button. So next does, all right, we've solved that mystery. Next takes me to the not schedule a test drive. That's useful. All right. So we have two options, two premium packages. I'm guessing that these are distinct from these other options. I like the images. I don't like that this image is the same as this image, although it's difficult, I guess, to show the wiring having been done in advance, or to show that it's the wiring that you're purchasing and not the actual entertainment system. Okay, so if I add the Premium 2 package, go to View More. That adds all sorts of Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. So those are features that those are distinct from these pictures. So I'm going to also add heated rear seats and 3-zone climate control. That seems like a car that I'd want to drive. All right, and parking assistance, because I can't drive. Although parking is the one thing that I'm pretty good at least I was. And I'll add, oh geez, this is going to, Premium 3 package is going to remove, we must remove. Make the changes. That's fine. I guess that goes back and removes my Premium 2 package. I'm up to $72,000. I really like that this updates like this. It's really nice. So I'm just going to click Save Your Build. Okay, so that does let me create an account. I won't do that right now. Star Service, pick that one. That's fine. And come down and click Next. Summary. All right, well, here we are. And it gives me a lovely little breakdown of my costs. The convenient up button.
Great.
Cool. So I guess from here I can estimate my payment, or, oh gosh, I have left your area. All right. Well, I think I've solved that problem.
Okay. So you were happy with the changes that you made?
Yeah.
Cool. So you're good with that then?
Yep. It's my new car.
Right. So that was great. That was some great feedback you were given there. Now we'll move on to the final scenario. So once you finish building the car, you decide that you want to go for a test drive before spending all of your hard-earned savings on the car. So what we want you to do now is schedule a test drive.
All right. I'm going to click Schedule a Test Drive, conveniently placed in the center of my screen. So, all right. So this image is different from the image that I have created. That's fine in theory, but I could see this being confusing. They've shown me the default, starting price. It's not the car that I've made, but I guess that's because they don't want to build the car that I've made and then have me drive it and not buy it. That's fine. Preferred dealer, I'll go ahead and enter my Worcester zip. Mansfield, that's fine. Oh, very nice. It gives me a little everything else. I'll enter my real name here. And I'd like them to contact me by phone. So I give them an email address and a phone address, and then I have to... I'm assuming that this is the preference. Cool. And anytime. Call me in the evening. Anything else you'd like to add? No, I think that's it. Cool. I'm not going to click the submit button because I don't want the Mansfield Motor Group to get mad at me.
Right.
But I think I've scheduled my drive.
Cool. All right. Well, that's all the scenarios we have. So we're just going to kind of do like a little debrief here before we wrap up. So that was the last task that we had for you. As you stated earlier, you're not very experienced when it comes to cars. But what are your overall thoughts about this experience?
Well, I have to imagine that if I was buying a car, I would spend a bit more time staring down the build page. I will say that scrolling through all of the models of car that they have available on their website was somewhat unpleasant. It didn't look like there was a good way to do a compare and contrast. Like I couldn't add a bunch of different models to my basket or whatever and see the features lined up next to one another like you might be able to do with, for example, like a laptop. That might just be a car thing, though. There might be too much in a car to compare and contrast evenly. An SUV, I have to imagine, is a little bit different from a sedan, so doing that comparison might not be meaningful. Nevertheless, even when I was on the SUV page, it might have been nice to be able to drag one up and have another car pop up and show the features next to one another. Building the car itself was fine. I like that the car updates in real time, that it renders an interior model for you to kind of visualize. And then scheduling a test drive is about the easiest thing. It's just filling out one form on one page.
Cool. You kind of already touched upon this, but if you had to pick like one thing that you liked and disliked about the site, what would that be?
Yeah, so I don't love the vertical arrangement. Not that you can do a whole lot about that right now, just because it is popular and it works really well for mobile devices, just not for desktops, in my opinion. And I like the visual aspect of the building of the car. It's nice to be able to see what things look like as you add features.
Cool. And lastly, would you feel confident and comfortable using this site in the future if and when you consider buying a vehicle?
I'd say so. I think I would definitely consider purchasing a Mercedes-Benz.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for your time. This was very helpful. Before we finish up, do you have any questions for us? Now that we're done, you can kind of ask a couple more questions that we might not be able to answer throughout the test.
No. Thank you for having me. It's been a great pleasure.
Cool. Well, thanks again.